Hey guys, this is Kevin from the TechFolix channel, and in this video I'm going to be telling you on how to write a function in C++ that exchange its exchange two values using a function swap. So using the function swap we are going to be interchanging two given numbers, and let's start by going to file. I'm using Turbo C++ right now. You can also do that. I'll be including the link in the description down below. And here we go. So first of all we have iostream.h in these angle brackets. We have include conio.h. Alright, this is also going to be happening in angle brackets. And let me tell you this, that those things on top were the header files. Alright, so that you won't get confused. Let me take this a little far. This is the header files. Now the next thing that I'm going to be going to is the main function. So void main parenthesis including the curly brackets, let's say getch, or you could also call that function as get a character, and let's begin. So we have two values, which is int x and y. Alright, let's say clear screen so that we don't have any cluttered screen every time we really run a program. So let's say that enter values for x and y. So enter value for x and y. Cn x is supposed to be something and y is also to be taken in. Alright, why did I do this? I'm going to be including another end earlier for presentation purposes. You can also not include it as well as include it. So once this is taken in, let's tell our user that this is the x and this is a y which you have entered in. So before swapping, let me include an end earlier, which of course goes to the next line. X should be equal to x and y should be equal to, let me include a gap, y should also be equal to y, and that's it. We have the end of statement. So let's go to our logic. Alright, so we have swap as a function which we are going to be using, and let's say cout after swapping. Yes, of course I will add another end l over here after swapping. Space cout end l again. X should be equal to something, which happens to be x, of course. The new value of x, or you could also call that as the swapped value of x, and y should also be equal to the new value of y. Semicolon, and that's it. Now let's get to a major part, which is of course going to be the void swap. So we are going to be including this function, or we are going to be telling more about this function after the main method. So let's say void swap. Our return type, this is our return type, this void. Alright, and the function which we are going to be defining everything is in the function called as swap. So now this is our parameters, which is going to be included in these round brackets. So these round brackets are called as parameters. So our parameters are going to be x and y. Now our compiler is going to be confused with the x which we have written on the top and the y which we have written on the top. So let me say that let it be the pointer x and the pointer y. So this is going to be something which is really much helping for the compiler so that it doesn't get confused. So instead of really saying that pointer x and pointer y, we can also include a and b, but then I would say like it's better to go with the pointer, because the pointer x, now what does pointer really indicate? Okay, let me write it down here. Pointer is, or the star is, the address of a variable, or else in this case it's going to be the value of the address. Alright, so it's the address of the variable, and let's say that it is, for currently it's going to be the value of the address right now. So let's begin. Let's say that I want a temporary variable Alright, now in this temporary variable, I'm gonna say that I'm gonna be, copying the value, or I'm gonna be copying the value of x. So pointer x is gonna be stored in this temporary variable. Now let me give it the logic down below before I write any further. So why don't we write x is equal to y and then y is equal to x? So let me say two values. Okay, let's say the value of x is 23 and the value of y is maybe 44. So x is 23, y is 44. Now x is going to be stored in the value of x, which is already 23. So let me say that 23 is equal to 23 out here, and then 23 is again going to be stored in 23. Now this is totally stupid, so when you really say cout x, cout y, the value of 23 and 23 is going to be repeatedly shown. So why is this really happening? So first of all, you say that x is equal to y. So what is an x? X has 23, and you're going to be copying 23 to y, or you're going to be assigning the value 23 to y. So x is 23, y is also 23. Now when y is already 23, you can't tell x that you're supposed to be 44. Of course it is going to be equal to your assigning. So y, which happens to be 23, is going to be x, which is also going to be 23. So 23 is something which is going to be given in an output, which is really not recommendable. Something bad would really happen. So let's say that this all is bad. I mean, I shouldn't have erased the values, but it's alright. So let's see that the value of x again is 23 and the value of y is equal to 44. Alright, now this is a little twisting. So we have, on right over here, I have included something called as intemp, or I could call that as a temporary variable, or someone who's just needed just for the time being. So let me say that, okay, we have this temporary variable here, and I have given temporary is assigned as the value of x. So let's say that temporary is equal to x, or as we have x is equal to 23, 23 is equal to 23. Alright, once that is done, we are lucky. 23 is already equal to 23, so we have two locations left. So you can see that temp is also equal to 23 right now, and x is also equal to 23 right now. X is equal to y. Okay, so what's really happening here? Why are we doing 23 again? So I'm not really doing 23 again. What I'm really doing out here is that the value of y goes to b. So I'll say that the value 44 is being given to x, which is 23, which is 44, of course. Yeah, it was 23 before, but is now going to be 44. So let's say that now we have all our variables and we note them down. Temporary is of course 23, x is equal to 23, but then we can't say that x is equal to 23 because we just had this new addition right here. So y goes into x, so the value 44 is now being given to x, and y is still 44. So now we got to change 44, so y is equal to temporary. So when y is being equal to temporary, what happens is that temporary value, let's say that temporary is 23, temporary is equal to 23, goes to y. So the new value of y is 23. So let's take a wild guess from all that we have in the comments and let's write it down. Our final values are, first of all, temporary is 23. Our new temporary is equal to 23. Next, we have x also 44. X should be also equal to 44, and y, the new value of y which is being copied from our temporary location, is going to be 23. So yes, of course, we have been successful in our logic. X is equal to 23 is now become y is equal to 23, and y is equal to 44 is now become x is equal to 44, and we have nothing to do with this temporary variable in our output screen. So let's say tada bye bye right now, and let's go ahead with our logic. So I'm going to be erasing all of this off. Alright, let me go further with the logic. So the value of x is being assigned the value of y. It goes from right to left, and finally our y is being assigned temporary. Alright, so let me also put the numbers everywhere so that it doesn't avoid any confusion. Alright, so let's say that x should be equal to 23 and y should be equal to 44. So the same thing again, x equal to 23, y equal to 44, and the next thing is after swapping. So there is something that of course I missed, which is the parameters of the swap function over here, which is going to be x comma y, and we are going to be calling by reference. Alright, so just because we are going to be calling by reference, make sure that you include this and %, or in the normal English language you call this as and, but in C++ you're going to be calling this as and %. So swap, our parameters are and %x and %y. There is another last thing that I really missed. Okay, now we got to tell the compiler, or the one who really understands our program, that yes, of course brother, we have a function even after the main function. So we call this person as the god of all. It's not the god of all. Okay, it's not the god of all. We have this call as function prototype, which tells the compiler that we have a function by this name. Let me take this in the next line. Main function. Alright, so after this is done, let's put in our name of the function, which happens to be swap. Let us tell the parameters also. So the value of x, or actually it's the pointer of x and the pointer of y. So that's it. Let's include a semicolon. Please do not forget the semicolon, because this is just a function prototype and this is not the main method. So please include this as, like, we include the CLR SCR semicolon. So make sure that, I know this is before the main function, but we got to include the semicolon. Why don't you select? Alright, so that is done. Now let's move further and let's execute. Alright, so the shortcut out here is Ctrl F9, or what you could also do is directly run. I'm not going to be going ahead for compiling, so but still I'll make a compile check, which is Alt F9. I get 2 errors, oh my god. Alright, this is what I missed, which happened to be int star x. Alright, I am done, and I am just directly running the code. So let me include the values of x. So the value of x should be 23, the value for y should be 44, and boom. So let's say that before swapping our values were x is equal to 23 and the second value is 44, and after swapping successfully our logic has been successful, and our new values are x is equal to 44 and y is equal to 23. So successfully our codes have been swapped. Let me come back to our main code, and this is it. So thank you for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.